Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Turf Toe Show. It's been a minute, but we're back for a minute until we disappear again. If this is the first time you listen to us, this is Turf Toe Show where we mainly talk about like football, but every once in a while we touch on like basketball, soccer and everything else. I'm Mike Floyd, always joined as always with Defoe and Harris, who's on assignment right now, out there somewhere. I don't know, which training camp you at right now, bro?
And I'm way out west. But right now, the connection's getting all shitty.
Oh, the connection's getting shitty out there?
He's over there at the Falcons training camp. Falcon Lake.
Did we lose you? We still got you. Nah, I think we lost it, so we'll see if we can get him back later.
Nah, you guys just came back.
Oh, we just came back? Oh, okay.
I'm like, really, man? As soon as it starts?
That's the problem.
Yeah, man, as soon as y'all started talking, I got static.
It's like,
It's time. I'm having this.
Well, we figured it'd be a perfect time to start this back up because it's about to be redraft season for fantasy football. I think with the preseason games start, the 9th? The 9th?
Mm-hmm.
So they're kicking off. Are they doing the Hall of Fame game this year?
Yes, they are.
Okay, who's playing in it?
Yeah, we'll see.
I believe it is. That's a good question, actually. I think is it Baltimore? Yeah, it's Baltimore, Chicago.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely not watching that then.
Hey, no,
I mean, how's
Trubisky's doing?
Ugh, that's gonna be a horrible game. Unless my boys play.
How's the field gonna be though?
Yeah,
Remember a couple years ago when they had to cancel the game because the field was messed up?
Packers, yeah. I was mad.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I was mad. I canceled my whole day to watch this.
Well, you actually sit there and watch that game?
Why would I not watch the Packers play?
Okay.
You realize the Hall of Fame game is like the worst of the preseason games. Like it's like 2 weeks. It's like 2 weeks before all the other preseason games. No one cares about it. It's in a high school football stadium. Like nobody cares. Nobody cares about the Hall of Fame game, much less an preseason game.
Pack show.
You just want to watch Brett Hundley. I don't.
Oh, whatever.
The hot hand.
We're not gonna do that today. Unless Floyd opens that gate up.
I'm not gonna open that gate today. I'm gonna be a nice person today. But before we get into any football news, let's run through the what's been going on lately. Everybody knows LeBron James went to the Lakers. Don't really care about that anymore. These guys keep talking trash about Carmelo possibly coming to my Rockets, and I hope to God he doesn't because I would become a Mavericks fan.
He's still an ISO scorer. I don't know why Floyd's hating.
I just don't like Melo. I've never liked Melo.
But I don't even understand the point of that trade. And what was the point of that trade?
Get rid of him.
I know OKC wanted to unload a lot of money so they don't have to pay as much in taxes, which is smart for them. Atlanta wanted to get rid of Schroeder because he just wanted out and he like emulates Russell Westbrook like that's his idol, so it works for him. So it's not too bad. I mean, everybody. It's kind of a win-win for everybody. And Melo gets paid out the butt. I mean, he's like one of the few guys I know that gets so much money. He managed to save his marriage, even though like the whole thing was his fault. So the guy wins in every aspect of life except for a ring.
Right. Yeah. he doesn't deserve a ring.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't.
All right, so Melo won't be Hall of Fame?
No, he'll be Hall of Fame. He'll be Hall of Fame.
Be Hall of Fame
because everybody gets a Hall of Fame for the NBA.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, am I wrong?
No. Yes, you are wrong, but Melo deserves it.
I mean,
so.
Hey, go ahead, Harris.
I gotta know that if everybody gets in Hall of Fame for NBA, is JR. When's JR going?
Oh gosh, no. And you know who also won't be Hall of Fame? That should have been Derrick Rose won't be Hall of Fame.
Really?
Nope.
Even though he won the MVP?
I mean,
even though it was fraudulent. I'm on the fence that it was fraudulent, and it should have went to LeBron James that year.
Yeah, because now they're doing it that way. We got to spread the love out. Because Harden wasn't MVP. He was not.
Oh yeah, James. I mean, everybody tell you I'm the biggest LeBron James hater, but he deserved that. I mean, he dragged a bunch of corpses to the finals. I mean,
and even still, I would have been better if they gave it to Paul. To be honest, I'd have been happier with that because he was more.
If he would have stayed healthy, I can see that.
Yeah, he was way more important to Houston than.
But I think it was just like a consolation prize because of the whole Russell Westbrook, and he decided to go off with the triple dubs.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it's something we never seen since Oscar Robertson. It's like, because nobody really cares. I mean, 10, 10, and 10. I mean, if you're literally boxing out your own teammates, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
Right.
We got Kawhi that went to the the Raptors, which is hilarious to me.
The Raptors.
Yeah, that was not a good. That was not a good. I mean, well, to get Danny Green though, that I mean, sure, but
It helps with their defense out there.
yeah, but for 1 year.
Well, I think I think they're hoping that they get the OKC kind of thing, where they managed to convince Paul George to stay.
Which was a mistake also, but that's fine. I mean, Paul George obviously doesn't want rings. He doesn't.
I still understand how they convince. I still understand how they convinced Paul George to stay. He had that what was that 3-day or 3 hour whatever thing he did on ESPN to try to be like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't even know about that.
He didn't even take the meeting with Magic, man. He's like, I'm not even gonna go. Like, that's hilarious to me. Like, these guys were so sure that he was gonna show up, and he's like, Nah, pimp, I'm good. I'm gonna stay here in Oklahoma. I'm gonna get
the ESPN money.
I'm gonna deal with these tornadoes out here and watch Russell Westbrook just dominate. I mean, I guess he doesn't want to be the guy. I mean, he's doing like the Kevin Love thing.
To be the guy. He wouldn't have had to be. He wouldn't have had to be the guy. Yeah, you got the guy already there.
It might go to show that people don't want to play with LeBron anymore.
People don't want. I don't know what that is about, man. People just don't want to win anymore. Obviously, or they want to win a different way. They'd rather not win than win and have to have that asterisk by them because they were with LeBron. Like, come on now.
Yeah, I can see that. Kind of how like everybody's with KD and the Warriors.
Yeah.
It's like you won, but it was with the Warriors.
The Warriors when they were like hot. You didn't help. You didn't really contribute, even though he actually has done more than they. I don't think they'd win without him, personally, because Steph doesn't show up in the finals.
That's true.
So I mean, if you got KD averaging 30 points a game in the playoffs like that, that matters. But,
I'm trying to look up.
That's why they got through the finals because of KD.
Yeah, especially last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. It's a shame. I would if I was an NBA athlete, I would be like, yeah, I'll play LeBron. You're automatically gonna get tons of TV time.
I'll play off that bench.
Going far. I'll play off that bench. Yeah, what? I mean, they like you still ain't making millions. It's like, oh nah, man, I don't play LeBron and make money in LA. Dang, I don't want to live there. Like what? That's what I'm talking about.
So what I find funny is that everybody's talking about like, oh, they want to play with LeBron. You know, he needs like all stars to play with him, and they always bring up Dirk Nowitzki, how he won that 1 year against LeBron's team. Mm-hmm. When you look at the guys that are on his team, he had Jason's kid, Tyson Chandler, Corey Brewer. Where's he at? Jason Terry. I mean, Jason Terry should go in the Hall of Fame. I mean, like I said, everybody goes in. Jason Kidd. I mean, it's an older team, but you got like legit dudes on that team. Oh, I didn't know Dwayne Casey was a assistant coach in that team.
I want to know how much Dirk averaged that final. Like, did he have like 40-something points? Like, I remember him putting up 41 like twice.
I'm trying to bring it up.
Yeah, because I feel like he won that. To be honest.
I mean, I remember that series, man. He put up points, but he also had like his role players that were around him were pretty decent. I mean, didn't he have coming off the bench? What's his name? AJ Barrera or the short dude?
Yep.
Like that dude was money from behind the three.
I didn't know Corey Brewer was on that team.
Yeah, they had a squad. They had a squad. I mean, you knew they had a squad because who they had to go through to even get there.
I mean, they swept the Lakers that year.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Spurs, like, you know what I mean? That was they weren't a pushover team. So
no.
Yeah,
hey, you know what it reminded me of that Pistons team where they just got random role players who just worked the system.
And just did their job.
They knew what they had to do and they just did it. Dirk Nowitzki averaged 27.7 points a game.
What? I could have sworn it was way higher than that.
I mean, that's the average for the whole series though, so it's not breaking it all the way down. And I want to say that's about really all that's happening NBA wise. I mean, WNBA, Liz Cambage set the scoring record, 53 points in a game, which is pretty impressive. I mean, I could barely get 21. I mean, she's dropping 53 on professional athletes. I'm just like, dude, ain't no way. And baseball is just an all-star game. So, even though baseball's boring, I did a couple mock drafts because I'm boring.
Baseball's not boring.
Dude, the
Colorado Rockies. The Rockies swept the Mariners going into the
the Mariners
going into
the
yeah. Hey, the Mariners are looking good, man. They swept the Mariners going into the All-Star break. The Rockies are on a roll. They're gonna make the playoffs.
Baseball playoffs, which is like 5 months long.
Yeah, it's like we're like halfway. They have how many games left still? They only been like 68 games. So, I mean, got another 100 something to play. So that's, I mean, it's all right. We'll unless there's a fight that breaks out, we'll lightly brush on baseball.
We'll be like, I know, like we're off that. So like I said, redraft season's coming back up, and for some reason I like doing mock drafts because I'm just boring like that. And this year in the league that we're all participating in, I got the 7 picks, so I just been throwing it there. And in one app, which is called the Sleeper Bot app, which is there's supposed to be some proprietary crap or whatever. The first 6 picks that came off the board were David Johnson at 1, Zeke Elliott, Todd Gurley, Le'Veon Bell, Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley.
Whoa.
All running backs. Straight off the
That was
board.
the first 6 picks.
That was the first 6 picks. Yeah.
Really? That is.
So when it got to me, the only 2 running backs that I was really looking at were Melvin Gordon and Leonard Fournette. And I took Melvin Gordon with the Chargers. Because the only reason I did that because I'm still worried about Fournette's ankles. I mean, I understand he's a hard runner, but I figured that having like an established running back that really hasn't been injured that way, I thought it would be a better pick than Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, him being a hard running back is a catch-22 because if he does have an ankle issue, then you never know when that's going to pop back up with him just trying to power through tackles and things like that.
Well, he did lose 12 pounds. He's trying to become more of a finesse running back.
Yeah.
So,
but didn't I thought Melvin Gordon had some injuries last year too? Like, didn't he sit out a couple games, maybe a game or 2?
I'm not too sure at the top of my head.
Yeah, I think he did. I believe so.
Yeah.
But I mean that's not a bad option. Melvin Gordon or Leonard Fournette. I don't know why Kamara's that high up though.
That's what I'm saying. Because I also did. Go ahead.
Kamara's going to be, at least for the first 4 games, he's going to be the number 1 guy.
Oh, that's why.
Ingram's out. That's why.
I mean, it's sophomore slump, man. They're gonna because he's not a power back. He's definitely finesse. I think the defense is gonna zero in on him.
Oh yeah.
So I would look for the passing game in the Saints this year. Thomas did okay, but they doubled up on him. But now you got to worry about that two-headed monster in the backfield. So depends on how you want Breeze to beat you.
Michael Thomas was first and second round in this draft. In the other draft that I did, the first 6 was Melvin Gordon, Le'Veon Bell, Todd Gurley, Antonio Brown, Alvin Kamara, David Johnson. I managed to get Zeke Elliott.
You got Zeke Elliott at 7?
Yeah.
What are people thinking?
I don't know. I have no clue.
If they think Todd Gurley's going to ball like he did, I mean, it's possible that he may get more touches just because that defense is definitely going to get turnovers. But I don't know. Man. I'm not sold on Gurley. I'm really not.
Nah, I figured that I was going to look at a wide receiver, but I was like, Zeke Elliott's on the board. I mean,
you can't. Yeah,
they're gonna feed the guy, so I had to take him. It was no brainer.
Well, then plus, if you think about it, what else? Like for that pick, say Zeke is there. What other options do the Cowboys have, like offensively?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, like Michael Gallup, the rookie out of where NC State, think he came from.
I mean, that could either be like a boom or bust. Like they can either feed Zeke the ball, like in the passing game and in the running game, or they're just going to realize that that's almost their only option and completely shut it down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Blocks up.
They're completely trying to shut down. I mean, the line is still there though, so I mean, that was a good option. Zeke is a good option. It's tough. It's really tough to. I mean, Bell's always a pass catcher, but that's just. Bell is. It's hard to deny Bell even if you have Zeke there. But then
you think he's going to hold out?
Man, he's about to make how much million? 14 million this year?
Something crazy, but they're talking about he might possibly hold out that first couple games. But I mean,
yeah, it's always something with him, man. Like, I mean, he turned down 70 million?
Yeah, over 5 years. But he won't get that whole amount. I think 30 was guaranteed.
No, what I heard, the 70 that he turned down, only 10 million was guaranteed on the front end.
Oh wow.
Man,
yeah, that's different story.
Yeah. I wonder where he'll go next year because he definitely is staying.
Well, whoever he goes to is going to be super happy. Watch it be the Browns.
That'd be annoying.
That would be funny.
He'd be like, "Oh, I'm staying in the same conference. Fuck you guys."
Yeah, right.
Now, in that same draft that I got Zeke, let's see, Odell went right behind that. Julio Jones, Keenan Allen, Saquon went in the first round. Then DeAndre, and then a couple of the running backs, and then it came back around to me. And for some reason, I'm stuck on Jerick McKinnon for San Francisco.
That's not a bad option.
I got him in both of these drafts as my second round pick.
That is not a bad. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Why are you getting running backs in your first 2 rounds?
Because all the other running backs are coming off the board ASAP. And I wanted one that I know was going to have a legit role in an offense. Because I still don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo.
When it comes to running backs, it's always waiver wire. Like, I guarantee you may have one of those running backs at the end of the season. You won't have both.
See, I'm more of a quarterbacks on the waiver wire kind of guy.
Running backs are bound to get hurt. Like,
that's true.
So,
but I figured with that, the committee, it's going to be a running back by committee out there.
yeah, because they got a couple guys. I don't know what San Francisco's going to do. I mean, they're still not winning that division. So,
So would you rather have Jarrett McKinnon, because of the 4 choices that I had was Jarrett McKinnon, Joe Mixon, Jordan Howard, or Derrick Henry?
Jordan Howard, bro, without a doubt, they're about to work him in Chicago.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry's gonna score touchdowns. He's
Yeah.
definitely gonna pound that rock inside the red zone because Mariota's not.
But he's not gonna get yards. Yeah.
He's not gonna get yards. But it's a touchdown or bust. But I mean, they don't really have. I mean, Murray's finally gone. I was banking on Murray getting hurt last season. That's why I had Derrick Henry on the bench all season. But
I mean, if you were in a dynasty league, you would have been set.
yeah, but man, no, Jordan Howard without a doubt. I'm surprised he's not first round. Like he put up a lot of points last year.
Well, the running backs that really went first round were like Kareem Hunt, Dalvin Cook, guys like that.
I mean, yeah, Kareem Hunt. I mean, I don't know if I'm expecting the same from those guys this year. I mean, I don't know. Depends on what Brett Favre reincarnation does, but I mean, the Chiefs are going to be interesting. So I don't know.
Wait, hold on. Who's the Brett Favre reincarnation?
Mahomes,
man. Mahomes, he's got a cannon.
Man.
the gambler himself.
And he doesn't like to run all the time. I was just watching an old school game with Arizona State and Texas Tech when he was there, and it was like a basketball game.
Bro, you said old school game.
Old school.
Bro, he just got out of college.
It was okay. 2 years ago. It was a throwback game.
Hey, you pop in the tape in the VCR or what?
All right, okay, guys. Anyway.
Yeah, blow the dust off of it. All right, so then all of a sudden, wide receivers started to come off the board, just start flying. And like the top ones, Antonio, DeAndre, they were gone. Odell was gone. AJ Green went pretty high. I don't like AJ Green.
Oh man, you don't like talent then.
Dude, I've drafted AJ Green for the past 4 years and been disappointed for the past 4 years.
I think that's what happens when you get doubled every play.
I know. That's why I'm off of him. I mean, I would love to pick him up, but it's just every year. But I ended up with Larry Fitzgerald.
I mean,
That's not bad.
I figured that's a
that's
consistent.
not bad.
Every year, he's consistently going to get those touches. He might not be the fastest guy out there anymore, but I know he'll at least catch the ball if it's anywhere in the radius of his hands.
But he was getting those touches from Carson Palmer.
I figured with Sam Bradford out there, Sam Bradford can at least get the ball near his hands until he gets hurt.
Yeah, Sam Bradford reminds me of Dak, man. They get to the ball to the open receiver, period. Like, they don't care.
He's going to have...
They don't play favorites.
Bradford's going to have one healthy game just like he did last year with the Vikings.
He's going to be Rosen.
And his knee's going to hurt.
But who's the rookie that's out there with? Josh Allen?
Josh Rosen.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he's going to get familiar with one of those receivers, and he's just going to keep dumping it to him once he starts getting pressured.
True.
So
Yeah, exactly.
He'll get the targets out there. That's why also in that same draft, my 4th pick, I took Allen Robinson if he's healthy. Because I figure Mitchell Trubisky, I mean, he's on the up and up. And if he can get that report of Allen Robinson, he's going to suck up all those targets.
Right. I guess Josh Gordon just doesn't exist here, I guess.
Josh Gordon was gone.
Oh, what?
Yeah, he was gone before I got Larry Fitzgerald because I was gunning for Josh Gordon.
All right.
Yeah, that was a wrap. But then my other draft, everybody disappeared and I got left with Juju, who's getting moved to the slot. I didn't like that pickup either. I wanted him a little later, but
Jarvis wasn't there. Pierre Garçon wasn't there.
I got Pierre Garçon like right after that.
Good. Yeah, he's gonna be an option, man. He's gonna be. I think I like his route. I like his route running. I like his hand.
Well, let me do it this way. I'll read off from the sleeper bot one. My 15 picks, and we'll go from there. So my first pick was Melvin Gordon, Jarrett McKinnon, Larry Fitzgerald, Allen Robinson, Chris Hogan, Will Fuller, David Njoku, Phillip Rivers, Pierre Garçon, Nyheim Hines, George Kittle, the Steelers defense, Mariota, Chris Boswell, the kicker, and Deshaun Jackson.
That's who you got.
Wait, so what round did you take your quarterback? Like,
I took
late?
I took Rivers in the 8th, and I took Mariota in the 14th.
You second.
Because I could figure I could drop Mariota and then just stream the waiver wire and just find another one that I like with a matchup. But I just like Phillip Rivers as a fantasy quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers went in the 2nd round, so.
I know. I want him so bad, but I can't take him.
Well, don't you have the first pick?
I got the first overall pick, bro.
Hey, do it. Just do it. Just do it.
I mean, yeah, you know he's gonna give you like 25, 30 points every single game, but it's like I just can't. I might have to, but I don't want to do that.
And then my other draft, I got Zeke with 1, McKinnon, Fitzgerald, Juju, Pierre Garçon, George Kittle, Deion Lewis, Rivers again, Will Fuller, Mahomes, Kenneth Dixon, Eric Ebron, Keelan Cole, the Vikings defense, Corey Clement, and Matt Prater.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That doesn't sound.
I don't think I'm a.
To me.
No, it's not star-studded. I just figured they're workhorses. Because I figure it's the same thing with Houston. That's the reason I picked up Will Fuller. Because everybody's going to double DeAndre Hopkins or try to pressure him. And Will Fuller, I mean, he's prone to drop the ball all the time. But when he does catch it, he's good yards after carry, or the yards after catch.
I mean, but if you look at that division though, they all have big dogs at their second corners.
Yeah.
So I mean, Jacksonville and Indy have the corners, and I mean Tennessee. But other than that, I don't know, man. Like I feel like we'll see what Watson can do now because now they got a little more time on him. Now they can.
And he went in the 3rd round. Deshaun Watson.
What?
He was the 2nd quarterback off the board after Aaron Rodgers.
Gosh, they drinking the Kool-Aid, man. You tell me Drew Brees don't exist? Really?
Brees went in the 6th round.
But like Ben Roethlisberger doesn't exist?
I'm surprised that Russell Wilson has been going so high. Because he lost pretty much everybody he could throw to.
But they're going to have to do something. Their defense is not what it was.
Yeah.
So
That's because all Russell Wilson has is Baldwin, just like that's all he had last year. And that's all he's going to do is run around and throw a Baldwin the entire game. And it's going to work sometimes and sometimes it's not.
Yeah, I got a list of the ADPs, the average draft positions for PPR leagues right now, and it was updated 3 days ago. And let me just go by QBs. Let's look at this. Normally, all right, so for the top 10 quarterbacks off the board, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Brady, Newton, Wentz, Breeze, Roethlisberger, Cousins, and Stafford.
I like that. That makes sense. I guess Andrew Luck just doesn't exist either, I guess.
Everybody's on the fence. They got him at 13, but they're still waiting to see if he can actually throw a regulation ball because he's been throwing college football so far, and they want to see him actually in like a 707 and what he can actually do before they make that plunge.
Okay, it's a low risk, high reward type of situation. He's gonna play this year.
What I was like, I was looking at T.Y. Hilton, and I'm just like, but I want to know if Andrew Luck is like legit healthy. Because it all depends on him. Because if it's Brisket out there, it's no good.
Yeah, I mean, I would draft him like 14th round. He'll be there because everybody's scared of him.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then, well, actually, he won't be there 14th round. But
let me see. Did he even come off the board? No, he was on the waiver. So
really,
yeah,
man, that's bad. That's bad. I want to be in that league. That's what I want. Put me in that one.
Actually, one of them he didn't go. The second one he went in the 8th round. Right before Matthew Stafford.
Man, drafting quarterbacks late.
Well, the same guy that took him also took Patrick Mahomes.
Hey, I mean, I think you guys are gonna see a new age arm out there, man. You're gonna have Brett Favre nostalgia.
So,
flashbacks.
Since you got the first pick in the draft, Defoe, who's the player that who's the 5 players that you're like looking at?
I don't really know who I want to draft. Because I can't stand the Cowboys, so I don't want to draft Zeke, but Zeke is probably the best prospect out there. Bell, if he can get his stuff to act together, was my option. I don't want Gurley at all. Gurley's not my top 5. I'm not a fan of him.
So you think it was just all like hype and
I just think,
right place, right time?
I mean, don't get me wrong, he's good, but I just don't believe he's gonna repeat what he was doing. He was averaging like 30.
Yeah.
Like what? That's.
Oh
like,
yeah.
As a running back. I like Antonio Brown. Odell, man. It's tough for me. Trust me, I'm tempted to go with Rodgers or Brown, Zeke, Bell, and then maybe my 5th one. I would have said David Johnson, but his offensive line is horrendous.
Yeah.
So no.
I was looking at the O-line ranks, and where was it at? Where are they at? I don't even think they're like top 10.
Yeah, no, it's really tough for me to really like decide who I would want.
Oh yeah, they're 29th.
Yeah,
Out of 32 teams, they're 29th ranked offensive line.
Yeah.
The top 5 are the Cowboys, Eagles, Steelers, the Titans, and the Falcons.
Yeah, so that's why it's like, Le'Veon Bell really. I mean, I drafted him last year, and he did well for me when obviously when
there was a couple up and down games for you though, right?
With
him?
With him, just because sometimes they would stop because Antonio Brown was just balling so hard. Man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's 30 years old now. He probably still has it. It's just like, man, like, do you want Bell or do you want Brown? It's just like Brown, it's more off his yardage and his receptions, but Bell gets those dump offs all the time. It's easy points. And in the red zone, he does get the love. So Bell is always a great option. David Johnson, no, but Todd Gurley, obviously, is a good option, but he's not my top 5.
Now, would you be willing to trade back?
I'd have to get a lot of good stuff for that.
Well, I'm saying if you a pick for a pick, instead of having the first round pick, what position would you rather have?
Oh, I mean, the first round overall, you can't trade that. I mean,
Shit.
Why would you trade that?
I would trade that in a heartbeat.
Why would you trade for what? For an 8th?
Yeah, I would take like my sweet spot is between the 7th and the 9th.
Yeah, because then you get an early second round pick.
Exactly.
Too. That's the problem. I don't want to pick last and second round.
Mm-hmm.
That's why having that 12 isn't so bad because you get the 12 and 13.
And everybody's rushing trying to get those little bell cows and everything else, and I can get these value players that I know are going to get me points. Because that's how I was able to be decently successful last year. It was just I wasn't flashy with it. I was beating people maybe by a point or two, but it was consistent.
Yeah, no, it's just things didn't go. When it comes to fantasy, I'm looking at matchups with corners. I'm looking at everything. It's just that sometimes, when you watch those games, it's like the scheme I had would work if they just catch the damn ball. I mean, obviously that's anybody's scheme, but no, the people I had, they had opportunities. You look at their stat sheet, and they were thrown to like 8 times.
Yeah,
call only 2 or 3. It's like, come on, man. So, I mean, I don't know. I maybe Zeke. I'm thinking Zeke or Bell, man. Like, just because those are the ones I know for sure are gonna ball. Gurley, David Johnson, that's a negative. Kamara, I don't know why they got him in PPR as number 4. I don't know why? That's not. No.
And they got DeAndre Hopkins right behind him. Hey, Harris, so any rookies are you going to target this year, man?
Say that one more time, you cut out.
Any rookies you're going to try to target this year?
I mean, I'm sure everyone's going to try to target Saquon. It'll be interesting to see how he does up there. With most of that team back, with most of the Giants back healthy, OBJ back healthy. Hopefully, Eli has his head out of his ass this year because they'll have someone to throw to. It should open up their running game. They didn't really have much of that last year.
Well, they don't have McAbone anymore, so
to see how he does.
Yeah. With McAbone,
I mean, I'll still be interested. I'll still be interested to see how Saquon does as far as being a rookie, because everyone was all about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. What pick do you have?
I want to say the 5th.
So if you was going to get Antonio Brown or Saquon, who are you going with? Going with the average, with the ADPs? Because Antonio Brown's going off as 5th.
I think I would go with Saquon with that pick. I'll go with Saquon.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because Ben is getting old. Eli's getting old too, but Ben is really showing his age. He can barely move, man. I don't know how he's going to be able to scramble around in that pocket and buy enough time to get those deep balls out to Antonio. He's going to have to go short.
To Juju, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I mean that'll be the better pick. Yeah, he'll have to go short, take those slants, take those over the middle routes, and maybe eventually Antonio Brown will get the touches that he wants, that he needs. But we'll have to see how that line works for Ben.
Now I got a question for y'all. So with all these football players getting in trouble every other week, there's a new one. Does a star player, say like a Shady, scare you off from drafting him when he has something like what he's going through pop up? Or are you one of those that's like, you know what, the way the NFL has shown itself, he's most likely not going to be banned from the league, probably be suspended some games. Would you be willing to take a pick on a flyer on him?
I mean, his stock definitely drops. He's not gonna go second or third, but I mean, he's not really being found of anything right at the moment.
No, because it's all just an Instagram post.
Yeah, that's not. That's been worse. So I don't. I mean, his stock's falling anyway. Like, to be honest, he really let me down last year. But now they got like someone in the pocket who actually people have to respect. I think the lanes will open up for him now. But last year he was not. He was horrible for me in my standard league. Like, horrible. Like,
yeah.
I took him 6th overall.
Yeah.
He just played me.
Yeah, I don't think his the whole thing going on with Shady McCoy, man. Like, I don't think his stock should. It's going to drop because it looks bad at this moment, but like Defoe said, he hasn't been charged with anything. He hasn't been arrested. There's just an investigation going on into the situation, and everything that's happening right now is nothing's pointing at him except for Instagram posts.
Yeah.
Which aren't.
Yeah, come on.
Which are nothing. You can post anything on Instagram.
Any defense lawyer would tear that up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously something happened to the woman. I mean, the pictures are bad.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
For them to come out and say it was him right off the bat, when there's no police report that goes to him, there's no charges, there's nothing. It's a little crazy. A little crazy.
Yeah. Before we wrap this up, I found this little list. Your guide to the NFL offseason on ESPN.com. 20 things you might have missed since it's been 165 days since the Eagles won the Super Bowl, which I didn't realize. I saw that.
A lot of days.
Yeah. So, number 1, anthem policy imposed, and then they retracted it once they realized, okay, that was stupid. The concussion fallout. The league data service reported 291 concussions for 2017, which is highest total on record, which is pretty crazy. The new helmet rule, which everybody's been freaking out about, where owners scrambled at their last March meeting to prove this rule, an unscheduled response to data that showed the concussion resulting from 1 of every 2 hits involving helmet-to-helmet collision is now a 15-yard penalty with a possible ejection in flagrant cases for any player to lower his helmet to initiate contact with an opponent. So if you're running back, you're just going to have your chest hurting a lot because you have to run straight up now. Which, I mean, because, most running backs, when they're about to get contact, they kind of go down and take the balls.
Helmet rule.
But that's the thing. So it's so vague. Nobody knows if I dip my helmet just to brace for the contact, are they going to call that? It's a super vague rule. So they got to tweak that one.
Yeah, that's not going to fly.
Yeah.
They did a couple helmet restrictions. They banned certain helmet models. They deemed through testing be outdated, underperforming, which I think is going to help with the concussion thing. Training camp drills targeted. NFL data showed that 73% jump in concussions during early training camp drills in 2017 compared to 2016. So I'm wondering who the hell is hitting each other that hard during training camp.
Yeah. Well, that's when you bang, man. That's. Whew.
4 referees retired. Our boy Ed Hockley, he's gone.
Oh,
so we need a new guy.
Damn, Hockley's gone?
Yeah, man. Who's going to be doing the curls now, bro?
Right, we need someone out there with guns.
The gun show. They finally did the catch rule. So players are no longer required to control the ball throughout the process of going to the ground. Instead, a catch is defined as controlling the ball in bounds with the ability to perform a football move such as taking a third step, whether or not the receiver is going to the ground. In other words, if Dez catches it in 2018, he actually have caught it.
So now, if you don't have to fulfill the possession through the entire catch.
Exactly. As long as you take that third step, you're good.
Okay. Well, then, so what's that gonna do? Now, watch. There's gonna be a whole lot more fumbles now.
Yep.
Watch. That's what's gonna happen. Now,
Yep.
do that third rule, and then they go down. And the ball was moving a little bit. Up, fumble. Now, so watch. They're gonna regret that.
Everything's gonna be a fumble now.
Yep.
Thursday night football moved to Fox, which I don't really watch Thursday night games. They're kind of boring. I mean, it's usually like the Jaguars and crap like that. The Panthers were sold. Don't really care because I don't make that kind of money. The Eagles were disinvited from the White House. Don't really care about that. Players highlighted goodwill efforts. Don't care about that. Eric Reed filed a collusion grievance.
Oh yeah.
Still waiting to see what happens with that. Kirk Cousins managed to trick a team into paying him a lot of money. $84 million guaranteed.
Money.
It's funny because they lose Pat Shurmur, the offensive mind, and then they draft this guy.
Dude, that's just crazy to me. And then he has the ripple effect on the QB market. The Redskins acquire Alex Smith for the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs will start Patrick Mahomes. New starters in Buffalo, either AJ McCarron or Josh Allen. Cleveland, Tyrod Taylor, Baker Mayfield. Arizona, Sam Bradford, Mike Leonard, or Josh Rosen. And in Denver, Case Keenum, which I think is probably the most solid one of them all.
I hope. We'll see.
I mean, I'd rather have Case Keenum than that giant that's down in Miami now. And the other bums that he had for the past couple of
months. That guy needed time, bro.
You talking about Brock Osweiler?
Yes.
He had all the time in the world.
Bro,
he's had Brock Osweiler's had time, bro. He's had time.
What time has he had? Because when somebody's in your face after 3 seconds, that's not time.
Dude, he's the tallest person on the field.
All right, when he was in Houston, okay, why was Deshaun Watson balling so hard? Because he was running so much because he had no protection. He hadn't protected, and in Denver there was no protection either.
But he's 7'8".
I mean, it's Miami. There's still no protection. So
he's 7
Okay,
foot.
but do you remember the year that the Broncos won the Super Bowl? He won like 5 games as a quarterback, as a starting quarterback, because he had to. He
Did
had
you say because he had to?
Well,
he had to, yeah.
Because it wasn't really Elway's. It wasn't Elway's scheme yet. It was still Peyton's.
Okay.
It was still Peyton's scheme, and Peyton ran it. Peyton was like LeBron James of that team. Like Peyton was like, "Look, this is what we're doing." Like Elway, and now Elway can actually put his spin on things. And look, they've been doing horrible because of that. So, I mean,
there's some guys that don't need to be GMs.
Yeah, exactly. Elway, he needs to be around it because obviously he's an accomplished person. He's a great.
Be like a consultant, not just the guy in charge.
But no, like when you want to run it his way, it don't work that way.
No.
I mean, he's been good at picking defensive players. Just the offensive side, he hasn't been as good.
He knows what kind of guys can hit him. He's like, I've seen guys like you before.
Right.
The next one was the Colts hired 2 head coaches. At first it was Josh McDaniels, and then Josh McDaniels was like, renege, I'm going back to the Patriots.
Negative part.
And then they picked up Frank Reich as their new head coach, which I'm glad they got rid of. What was his name?
Who, Chuck?
The old Colts head coach.
Chuck Strong?
That's his name?
No,
Chuck McConnell.
Chuck McConnell.
Yeah, I'm glad he's gone.
I was like,
a couple teams that got new head coaches: Arizona Cardinals, Steve Wilkes; Chicago Bears, Matt Nagy. I'm watching that one. I want to see if he's going to be what is his name? Andy Reid 2.0.
Oh my gosh.
Detroit Lions, Matt Patricia. I think they're going to fail because Matt Patricia's a horrible coach. New York Giants, they got Pat Shermer, who Defoe was just talking about. Oakland Raiders, they got John Gruden again. Why? I don't know. $100 million for nothing because he's garbage.
Oh my god.
And the Titans got Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, Super Bowl champion.
What, the Raiders?
Garbage. Gruden has a Super Bowl.
Yeah. To the team that he got traded to.
Yeah, and that goes to show you. Yeah, he goes and he beats the team that got rid of him to do it. Like,
that was just a dumb year.
No, that was talent. That was coaching strategy. You'll be surprised.
That was like 20 years ago.
You'll be surprised what he's learned in that box office and commentating on these games.
Wait, everybody's gonna be a Gruden grinder?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, I'm telling you.
Everything,
he sees the game differently.
Spider, white banana.
He sees the game differently. Imagine spending like 10 years of just film. Like you're ready.
All right. The Giants listed the offers for OBJ, which they didn't do anything about. The Legion of Boom is dead.
Yeah.
Richard Sherman signed with the 49ers. Cam Chancellor retired due to like health concerns, and Earl Thomas is just like floating out
He's
there.
like, please just send me to the Cowboys, please.
Yeah.
That's all he wants.
The NFL reshaped their league office because they can't get stuff right, and they need to bring some new people in. And Rob Gronkowski bought a horse and named it after himself.
All right.
The last thing I wanted to mention, my favorite quarterback, Jay Cutler, is now a reality TV star. And if you haven't seen his show, it's the most hilarious thing on TV. Because it's literally his wife, like it's really her show, and her friends are walking around, and he's literally in the background complaining because they parked on his grass.
How old is he? Jesus.
Dude, it's the greatest thing in the world.
He's like 70 years old already?
Dude, like...
Why you parking on my grass?
When you literally think about like that meme that's out there with him like with a cigarette in his mouth at the meetings and stuff, that's him in the background of the show like the entire time.
He is who he is. He is who he is.
He's like, oh, all this women in my house. And
all this talking. It's too much noise.
It's like I'm trying to watch. I'm trying to play poker right now.
So does he still have that commentator job that he was gonna have last year, or that just get?
I don't know, man. He said on camera, I'm not really looking to do a lot of work right now. I'm looking to do the exact opposite of that. And it's like, what?
Wow.
You didn't do
you don't want money, I guess. No.
Right.
Dude, like, he just wants his cigarettes and his yak. That's all he wants.
Yeah, he is. Triple OG.
Dude, man, if y'all get a chance, YouTube, what is his name? It was on Undisputed.
Shannon Sharp?
No, not Shannon Sharp. He used to play linebacker for the Steelers and the Patriots. Big man.
Harrison?
Yeah, Harrison. Watch him on the Undisputed. If anybody can make Shannon Sharp look small, and then just, it is the craziest thing.
Yeah, he's a massive person.
Like, when you see him on the field, you think he's like, oh, you ever see The Longest Yard, the newest one, with Bob Sapp? You just think he just like, he talks like that. No, this guy's like well spoken. Like, you're like, what? This guy? Like, he knows what he's talking about. It's great stuff, man. But to plug our stuff, man, you can now catch us on Spotify, which is legit.
Green and black.
Yeah, we just randomly managed to get on there with no work at all. What up? You can also find us on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. You know, if y'all can help us out, you just like, share, subscribe. You know, you can leave us reviews, whatever. I'm not gonna read it.
You can argue with us if you want.
Yeah. We also got it set up to where we do Facebook Live now, so we might be doing a couple live shows. Probably do like a live mock draft between the three of us whenever Harris gets back from training camp.
Right.
So it's gonna be kind of cool.
Sign the contract, man. Sign the contract.
He could probably get signed with the Seahawks right now. They signed Brandon Marshall.
You saw I'll come off the bench.
Get that money, man.
Man, I'll come off the bench for any team right now. Shoot.
Right.
You want me to be the hydration specialist? I got you, bro.
Shoot, I'll paint the field, man. It don't matter.
It's like, I am the 12th man. But that's going to wrap it up for today, guys. Just like we said, you can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All those stuff is in the corner right above the folks' head. Just like I said, on Spotify and all this stuff. So hit us up if you want to be on the show. Until next time, guys.
Oh.
Bye. Wait.
Yeah.